Well, hi, hello guys. How are you? Today I'm going to give a review or just a view of the Anne with an E. It begins as another children's drama, the first hook to keep the viewer expectant. And although at the beginning we find an annoyingly talkative girl who uses her refined words and expresses herself in a peculiar and sometimes burdensome way, she will soon get us immersed in her world of creativity, stories, and adventures. This is not a series of chapters with a happy ending. All of Anne's childhood problems are shown with the darkness and magic that her adolescence has, even scary at certain times. For 3 seasons, Anne will be the common thread to reveal to us through her view the incongruity by which the world is governed, and she will not be sitting around but will try to change it. Believe me, she will. Everything about it. Each chapter is a small or large reflection on life and how we are told to live it. So, although the series is vintage, it deals with current affairs like feminism, a sentence that Anne will lead and that will remind us so much of modern Pippi Longstocking. Same hairstyle, breads, same creativity, independence, and ideas. Ahead of time, feminist speech is sometimes so clear that it is not even credible that it comes out of the head of such a young girl. The series offers us a contrast between new and old ideas, and Anne has come to break the rules. If you're looking for a different way of seeing things while remembering your childhood, this is your series. Netflix's adaptation of Anne of Green Gables breaks new ground with new faces and storylines, including its first ever black character, and it's better for it. Conan be damned, Anne with an E is bolder, funnier, and just plain better in season 2, as it imagines brand new storylines for the characters laid out in L.M. Montgomery's Anne of Green Gables novel. This is not to say it's better than the book, but now that the show has established its rules, breaking formula in its first season, this time around the story, much like its tutelar, irrepressible orphan, jumps in with both feet. What results is a more sure-footed and vibrant narrative that allows the show to play around with its characters in the bigger historical world that lay beyond the pages. It turns out that this strategy is the show's biggest strength. Although the source material still provides some inspiration, such as when Anne scares herself with the strength of her wild imagination, the new storylines offer more adventures, more ways to develop character, and more insights into the time period that are relevant to issues faced by you today. When the series last left off, the situation at Green Gables didn't seem quite as dire. Although the Cuthbert family has been in danger for ruin thanks to Matthew's unwise investment, selling of prized possession and taking in a couple of lodgers brought in some money and a lot of relief. Unfortunately, those lodgers, the good-looking Nathaniel and the boisterous Mr. Dunlop, are actually grifters secretly working a long con. The word affect all of Avonlea. How the show deals with that storyline leads Anne and her pal Diana to combine forces in a far more complex and provocative way that we'd seen previously from their fairy tale spinning shenanigans. This sets the stage for an even bigger capper later in the season that never loses sight of what the show is all about, doing good and celebrating what is good in the world. Although this may feel far too ideal for our modern world, Anne's inherent goodness and her inability to hold back is one of her enduring charms. And by extension, the story is at one point, one character says, she felt so openly, life had so much colors through her eyes. Yes, this description could refer to the series' heroine, yes, who always expresses every emotion, good or bad, in the utmost extra fashion. But the line could also refer to the series itself, which ping pongs from grim to joyous, from awkward to tearful, and yet always feels genuine and celebratory to what all life has to offer. But that includes the dark side also, the part of Netflix's adaptation that has received the most criticism. The show continues to nightmarish flashbacks to Anne's childhood at the orphan where she was abused irregularly, and McNally plays these scenes and as engrossingly as her exuberant ones. These boots of PTSD are sprinkled throughout the seasons. Yet, for some reason, the show has so far not seen fit to actually address them. But she's not the only one to get this treatment. This year, her adoptive parents, Matthew and Marilla, have their backstories revealed through flashbacks, and these are handled in such a way that offers neat solutions in the present. These moments feel the most manufactured but you can see fortunately the show's tendency for melodrama is tempered by its earnestness. This year the show's already bland messaging about bullying, acceptance, and exclusively is even more in your face after the death of his father. Gilbert Blythe took work on a steamship in order to see the world and find himself before deciding on what to do with the land he inherited. This new enterprise takes him to multiple ports of call but also allows him to befriend Sebastian Batch, an Afro-Caribbean worker from Trinidad, the first black character to ever have graced any Anne of Green Gables story, and even though there are whiffs of exhaustism here and there, for the most part, the show is savvy in how it addresses characters' racism head on, the inequalities faced by a non-white person, and how Bash is his own charming and fully realized person. The other major message about inclusion involves Diana's great aunt Josephine, who last season revealed that she had been in love with someone named Gertrude, who is now deceased. That storyline picks up again in a way that also overlaps with Anne's expressions in Avonlea and the idea of gender roles, identity, and self acceptance, while none of these stories were included in Montgomery's writing. The show filters everything through Anne, who herself had been misunderstood, ostracized, abused, and marginalized. It only makes sense that she'd gravitate toward those who weren't wholeheartedly accepted in society during that time, or this one that, for that matter. Despite the period of melancholy and turmoil, this season feels more energetic and subsequently lighter because of the faster pace. It also is more comfortable in its skin and handles humor in its everyday situations differently while also poking fun at itself. A caper near the end of the season epitomizes how everything gels to create a truly uplifting and most importantly entertaining adventure. The series' youthful cast, in fact, steal the show from the already strong adult cast members who are game for anything, including looking foolish in the most delightful way. It's a shame actually that the series is released as a binge because it's a show that plays better as a weekly or episodic watch. It takes its time to breed and build out evenly, truly creating a fuller picture of a community that is not just in place to provide a backdrop for Anne's shenanigans and growth. Each complete and satisfying episode deserves to be truly digested before rushing headlong to the next. If only Netflix allowed users to permanently disable autoplay, besides a quick consumption of the season, means that much longer a wait for the next installment. Thus, viewers would be wise to take a page from Anne herself and savor the now to the fullest. Thanks, guys. That was pretty much everything. See you next video. Peace. Enjoy the series, guys.